Scratching the mosquito bites.
Right.
Everything. Okay. All right, I'm ready. Okay. Hello. Put these on. Hello. My name is Shane Brody. I'm traveling around the country interviewing trans people, non-binary people, hopefully at some point. So I'm traveling around. I'm a trans man, long-term transsexual. I started transitioning in the late 90s, therapy and all that. Started taking testosterone in 2000. And so it's been a while. And I was stealth for a long time. And then I did some activism, and now I can't help but be out. So I thought I'd do this project. I drove all the way from Alaska, went through the South, and it is still really hot here. I've been doing gig work to try and fund this trip because I'm, not getting any funding and I'm poor. But I'm making it. Enough about me and my project. Here is my guest, and he's going to introduce himself.
Yes. My name is Sam. I am a transgender male. I identify as FTM. I'm from very hot New Jersey. I am sweating myself.
Are you from this particular area?
The next town over.
Okay.
From a town called Chemung. Nobody's ever heard of it. They say that sounds like a fungus. And where we're at is Medford Lakes, and this used to be a shore town.
A what town?
A shore town.
What?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So ready? So the Philadelphia people they didn't want to travel all the way to Jersey Shore.
Okay.
So they developed this in the late 20s, 30s, because there's a whole bunch of lakes, Medford Lakes. There's several lakes around here. So they just start putting up little vacation homes everywhere.
Okay, yeah.
And this is where they would vacation, and they still do.
Yeah, when I was driving up, I had visions of the movie Dirty Dancing. It's just like that. It's like they look like cabins, but they're not really cabins. Like, yeah. I've actually lived in a cabin. These are not cabins. This is like the suburban version of cabin. But it's really nice, and yep. They're all very close together, and it's actually quite heavily wooded out here. Yeah. And I can just imagine, like, when they were building this, it was probably during that period. Yeah. When they were trying to set Dirty Dancing or whatever, with the dance halls.
With the rules, yeah.
Yeah, and the rules. It's like a HOA, but it's like...
Kinda, yeah.
Camping HOA, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Around here, there seems to be a thing with the concrete.
For sure.
Or, like, anything that's metal that's near the ground just rots.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have taken a picture. I was just at the gas station. You could probably tell me this. Okay. Actually, I was at the gas station, and I was like... A young guy came up to me, and he was, like, holding a tablet and having a conversation at the same time with somebody else, ethereal. And I was, like, trying to put my thing in, my card in the reader, and he was like, oh, no, I have to do that. Yep. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to give this young guy...
my card.
Who looks sketchy with electronics in his hand that he could just scan my card.
Yep.
No way I'm going to do that. So I left. So I'm actually on empty.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to ask you, though.
Okay.
If that's a thing here. So why do they do that?
It is. So New Jersey is one of the few states that's left where you can't pump your own gas. We have gas attendants that will do it for you.
Okay.
So your best bet is just to go to the Wawa. That's right up the street.
Speaking of stores around here, I know this is quite a departure, but it's just this area is kind of cute. It's like you can feel the history of it because it's not like gentrified that much,
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like even so, I did a Burger King run or whatever, and I went to the Burger King, and I swear this Burger King was from when I was a kid.
Yeah, from like the 80s.
Yeah. There was like moss growing underneath things and like popping off the concrete, and nobody had bothered to clean it up.
No,
it was just like shards of it everywhere.
It's just how it is.
Yeah.
The McDonald's is a little bit newer,
but it does have the log cabin aesthetics.
It does. It's on purpose.
I was surprised at that.
Yeah, it's on purpose.
Yeah, it's like brown and wooden. Let's stop for a second, actually. Sure. I'm getting a little bit of weird feedback. I wonder if it's actually because I'm sweating so much.
Oh. Definitely, if you want to, set it up inside.
No.
I'm sweating too, so it's not just you.
No, it's fine.
Okay,
take 3. Right after I made my little joke, everything just kind of turned off, and I don't know why. There's a surge protector, but I don't know what was going on. So anyway, hopefully we can get through some of this interview. I think I actually interrupted you because I was just so fascinated by this area because it's like a movie set to me. Like I'm just like, wow, what is this place?
Yeah.
It's definitely a planned community.
Definitely a planned community. Yes.
So tell me more about yourself and
Sure.
'cause you're the focus of the interview here.
As far as being from around here, that's kind of where we started. Grew up here most of my life. I'm from Arizona, and my parents moved here when I was very young. So I've spent most of my life in this area. Went to high school that's right up the street here. I've lived in several states and somehow still managed.
There's a high school around here?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Oh yeah, very large. It's on that side of town.
Oh really?
Literally,
I haven't seen
I
it.
could probably throw a rock over that way.
Oh okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just ended up back here with my girlfriend, and she's
Did you
from,
move away somewhere? Or?
Yeah, I lived for my job. I had moved across the country a few times. New
Do you want to say what you do or just the
I've
general?
changed. I've changed jobs. I worked for a very large insurance carrier.
Okay.
For a little over 13 years. I left them back in October of last year. And now I work for the other side of the industry with a body shop that's becoming a very large body shop in the country. It's one of the largest with 1,500 stores so far.
Oh, okay. Is it like kind of a boutique kind of place where you do like fancy cars or?
We can do fancy cars, but it's more of we deal with the insurance companies now.
Okay.
And, if you get into a car accident, you would come to one of our shops and we would take care of it for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a one-stop shop. Leave your car, get into a rental, we fix it, and you come back.
Yeah, I bet urban people really love that.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes and no. They don't like getting their cars damaged. And so it's a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, but when they can just like drop it off and you guys will take care of everything and they don't have to worry about it, people love that.
They do love that,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Yesterday I went to, this is another gig worker story. Sorry about that. But I thought this was a really good model of a business. And I think it comes out of COVID in a way. And maybe yours is also popular because of COVID. I think new kind of business models are coming out of COVID, but who knows? I don't know anything. I've never had a business. No, that's not true. I did have a business, but it went under in 2008 with the recession.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm just blocking that out, I think.
Okay.
So I was doing gig work again. Yes, I'm obsessed with gig work because it's funding this. But I went to what I thought was a restaurant, but it really wasn't a restaurant. What it was a catering kitchen.
Oh, yes.
With just a lobby that you walk in and you just pick up the food. So no seating, no nothing like that. And all of the employees were just focused on making good food.
Yeah, so those are called ghost kitchens.
Okay.
So ghost kitchens where they kind of just pop up. Yeah. And it's very similar to the catering thing.
Yeah, it was in an industrial area.
Yeah.
So they didn't need a location.
No.
They didn't need anything good,
No. We have quite a few friends that do their chefs. Yeah. And they've done their own ghost kitchens. So that's how we've heard of it.
Yeah, it's great because they don't have to deal with people either.
No.
And
just pick it up and you're done.
And us people who are doing delivery stuff, we don't want to deal with the customers either. No. Like dining people and stuff. We just want to go and get it and go. Yeah. Right? And so it's perfect for us. So it's a nice little partnership. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, there's quite a few that have popped up.
I've never seen it before.
Really?
It's like I think it's a thing around here.
It could be. I know of a few of them in Denver, just from traveling. Yeah. That had popped up. I had ordered some food on an app. Okay. And then
maybe it's an urban thing. I've been slightly avoiding urban areas just because I'm from Alaska, so it burns me out quickly. But yeah,
it could be maybe an urban thing. But yeah, definitely it's a newer thing. I think you're right, from COVID. Yeah, that has developed. Because people went under.
They wouldn't be able to do it otherwise.
No,
because there's this horde of delivery drivers out here.
Yeah, because they couldn't seat anybody, and so they're like, well, how do we fix it? Yeah. Well, you don't sit here and eat.
That's right.
Just come pick it up.
That's right. Right, or get somebody to do it.
Or get somebody to do it for you. Yeah, I had lunch delivered today.
And tip well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Don't order if you're not going to tip well.
Right. I tip very well because I am lazy, and so the places that I order from that are right up the street here, I'm on a call. Yeah. Or I'm busy doing something, I can just order food. Yeah. Shows up at my door.
Well, I'll tell you, for the delivery drivers, it's the same amount of effort. If you are just going to a place that's close or far.
Gotcha.
Right? So be generous, even though it's close.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because you're still waiting and you're still burning gas. And
yep. I even upped my tipping just because of gas prices.
that's right.
I'm like, this is one tank of gas. All right, let's just
good.
up this up.
That's good. Yeah,
Yep.
because I'm just shocked at how much gas I'm going through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
bad.
It's really bad. Like, I'll go through, doing gig work, like a tank in like a day and a half.
Really?
Yeah, because I have my dog with me, so I have to keep
okay.
my car on all the time.
Yeah, keep the air conditioning running.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can
to keep
see
him
that.
comfortable. So let's get back to you.
Sure. Sidetrack.
I'm all about the tangents, and especially when I'm feeling a little crappy and it is so hot, I'm just like more and more and more tangents.
Ah, it's all good.
Anyway, so tell us more about you, like your personal identity, maybe your, religious beliefs, politics. That's kind of what
Sure.
I'm talking about in this project.
Okay,
Besides
so
all the tangents,
all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So as far as like religious beliefs, I think I grew up.
How about your personal identity first?
My personal identity.
Yeah.
So I'm a trans man.
Okay.
I transitioned. It'll be 4 years ago in August.
And do you consider yourself transgender?
I do.
Okay,
Yes.
transgender.
Transgender. And I actually transitioned at my large corporation that I worked
Oh.
at. So that was a little unique.
How was that?
The people that were my superiors.
Yeah.
I kind of approached them about it first and was like, so I don't know what to tell you. But this is what I'm going to do. And what's the best course of action of how we can relay this? Because at the time when I worked there, I was in charge of 7 states as far as auditing and doing that type of stuff.
Did you have to travel a lot?
I did.
Yeah.
So it was, I was always moving around. So how do you combat a change like that when everybody for, at that time, 10 years knew me as Sarah?
Yes. Yeah.
And now how do you say, okay, well, this is Sam?
Yeah. And I'm thinking that kind of job requires a lot of personal relationships.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Building that.
Building that up and a lot of networking. Yeah. I mean, I have contacts in all 50 states at this point from doing it for so long. So they were very supportive. My immediate boss was like, I don't care what you do, as long as it makes you happy.
Was it that big of a change? Like, were you fairly masculine before, or were you kind of hiding it? Or
No, I was definitely like that bull dyke.
Okay.
I definitely,
right there.
Definitely the bull dyke. I definitely I walked in the room. They're like, that's the lesbian that we were talking about.
Yeah. So they hired you that way as
they
being
did.
somebody who's gender nonconforming, as people say.
Yeah.
And so it probably wasn't that big of a shock to them.
It wasn't that big of a
Yeah.
deal. And I think they kind of were prepared at that point because I had started when they hired me, I had long hair, and so but it was always in a ponytail.
Sure.
And so then I started just like.
Did you ever do a
cut it
man
off.
bun?
No, it was never that long. It was always this weird, like, short bob thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I look at pictures now, and I'm like, oh, God, what was I thinking?
I had Kurt Cobain hair for a while.
Did you?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, like I put it behind my ears, and it was like a dirty blonde, so it was just like his hair.
Okay.
And I put it behind my ears, and then it kind of permanently stayed like that. Like it had a little...
Like it had a little whip?
Yes, it had a little wave from that.
Okay. Yeah, no, mine was a little bit longer, but it was layered. It was, oh, my God, it's horrible.
Layered?
Yeah, it was layered. It was horrible. And
Am
then,
I thinking like mullet kind of action? Or?
No,
not quite.
no. Like the bangs and everything were so long. I couldn't tuck it back like you could. Like it was just short enough that I couldn't do that.
Okay.
And then one day I just cut it all off.
So just kind of floppy and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just cut it all off, and then
Yeah.
it's been short like this ever since.
Okay, just took a buzz.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Mhm.
Went to a barber and was like, so like I just need you to cut it off.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right. And so she's been cutting it that way for years now.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
but yeah, we have a friend who wants my attention.
Oh, a French bulldog.
Boston. Yeah.
Oh, Boston. Okay.
Little Boston Terrier. So
Okay. They look similar.
they
don't
do look very
Okay.
similar. He's got a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
tuxedo.
Okay.
How
How are they different?
Frenchies are a little bit shorter.
Okay.
And they come in all different colors.
Okay.
And he's a black and white Boston.
Yeah. I'm not used to boutique dogs because Alaska, it's kind of like husky mix,
Or whatever you can get.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
pretty much it's like husky mix.
Yeah.
Up there.
So he's been with the family for a long time.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, those
he's
little
good now.
dogs can live for a really
Forever.
long time. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So as far
you're
as work
a trans
goes,
man.
Trans man.
You've had this career for quite a long time.
Long time.
You transitioned on the job and it was
I did.
fine. Did you have any snafus come up?
I had some snafus, and it wasn't, and that was the crazy part, because it wasn't like it was directed towards me.
Yeah.
It was, I had to hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
I had to hear about conversations.
I think that's even worse, though.
I do think so.
Because they didn't respect you enough to talk to you.
To talk to me about it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that I think was the hardest part, was conversations were happening behind my back. And I had known these people, and if not had trained them from the day they started, had this issue.
Oh, you were the boss.
I was kind of, I oversaw a lot of them.
Okay.
And a lot of them are still with the company, so that's why I'll choose not to say what company that was.
Yeah. I don't want you to. Yeah.
Because I heard they talked about me, and I still hear about it. That's the crazy part. Like, even though I've left the company, it's literally been 7 months since I left, I still hear about it.
Hear about what?
Hear about, oh yeah, when you transitioned.
Oh.
And I'm like, really? Why
it's
is
been
that
a while.
still?
Yeah.
I mean, that's old news, and I'm not even with you guys anymore. So.
And you pass. I mean.
Oh,
out on the street, I would be like, that's a dude, with a really nice beard.
Thanks. Yeah. No, I definitely passed. At the beginning, it wasn't so much.
Oh, of course not.
It's that normal puberty phase,
of
and I had barely any scruff.
But then people are still talking about it.
Yeah.
And why? I mean,
I think it's because of the company that I went to
Yeah.
is still very much involved with that insurance company.
Okay.
And
so just through the grapevine, people
through
are
the
like,
grapevine,
ooh, I got something to say.
Yeah, and now I'm at a higher level
Okay.
than I ever was with that company, and so now there's this little bit of, we'll call it maybe animosity, that I'm still on this side, but I'm still telling you what to do, kind of thing.
Okay.
And so maybe it's speculation, but they don't like it, and I still hear about it. And I'm still close with a lot of people who have left the company, and it's just very interesting. But on this side, I got hired.
I would have never thought there was politics between the insurance and the fixing and that sounds like a whole underworld that I don't know about.
It is. I've learned a lot just switching from side to side.
Wow.
There's a lot of politics on the one side, for sure, that I didn't want to play.
Yeah.
That's probably why I left, because I didn't want to play. And on this side, not so much, but it's more politics with the insurance people.
Okay.
And keeping them happy and keeping them at bay.
So you work with like a whole bunch of little insurance yeah.
I work with all the big carriers, top 10,
Yeah.
and then anybody below them too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very interesting to see on this side.
I'm amazed at how much, I'm sure you're very competent, but I recently had a workers' compensation thing, and they farmed it out to like a private insurance or something, and like I was amazed at how incompetent the person I was with was in working with me, and I wondered after a while if it was built in, like the incompetence was built
incompetency?
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
because then they could delay paying me. And, it was a little weird.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Yeah,
That happens where they sublet it out to somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's a nightmare.
yeah, yeah. She's probably like me, living in a car, in
Answer the phone.
a parking lot somewhere.
Yeah, I'll pay you when I can. Yeah, absolutely. Did
Yeah,
you need that
thanks.
yesterday? Oh, sorry about that. It's gonna take 7 to 10 business days to get your check. Yeah.
Oh, it got worse than that. They actually put the hospital that they weren't paying put me in collections.
Oh my gosh.
And it's illegal to do that in Alaska if it's a workers' comp claim.
Really?
Yeah. So I got to stop it, but still, it was like crazy. Like, and I'm several thousand miles away. How am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of me again.
I digress. Yeah.
So that's your work life.
Yeah.
And it sounds like there was some annoyance there, but not too bad, and you're
Not
still
too bad.
there.
Yeah, so, and moving to this side, when I got hired, they knew who I was before. Mm-hmm. They knew me before transitioning.
Wow.
And since I've been here, not even one iota of an issue.
That's great. I've been really impressed, actually, with how corporations are doing that.
Yeah.
Like they don't even really care about like what the government's doing. They're like, we're just gonna set our policy.
Yeah, this is our own thing.
I think that's great.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it's better that way.
Yeah, I do
because
too.
it leaves it's essentially just doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Just do the right thing,
Right.
and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Right. And talk about like having a a good workforce. Like,
Yeah.
trans people have such a difficult time sometimes
Sure.
getting work. If a company gives us a chance, guess what? We're going to give it our all,
Oh,
and we're going to
100%.
stay there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so if you all are having trouble finding somebody, think about hiring trans people or
Absolutely.
queer people or something, because we'll stay. And
Absolutely.
We'll do a good job.
Yeah. Well, we're lifers. I mean, I would have stayed with the company that I was with.
Yeah.
Had the things that transpired not transpired.
Oh, so you had something done.
So there was, and it
Yeah.
wasn't, it had nothing to do with me being transgender
Okay.
or anything like that. It was just politics.
Okay.
And
Just weird workplace
just weird stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to go.
Yep.
And it's just,
that's how it is
I
sometimes.
mean, and that was almost, you know, like I said, it was a little over 13 years I spent with that company.
Yeah.
I started when I was 23.
Yeah, that's a long time these days.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandfather stayed at Procter & Gamble for over 40 years, and they had to
Yeah.
make him quit. But, yeah, they kept moving him to different jobs as he
Right.
got older, you know.
Yeah, here, come over here.
Yeah. But he did not want to quit. I mean, yeah. But in today, that's a long time, 13
It is a long
years.
time. Yeah. You know, most people, I think they bounce around from job to job
Yeah.
trying to find what they're looking for and maybe
Yeah.
chasing the money a little bit
Sure,
with it, right?
sure.
And not really finding what they're good at.
Sure.
And I found what I was good at.
Yeah.
And then I found
Yeah.
a company that wanted to support me,
Yeah.
and
That's great.
I'll be a lifer here for as long as they'll have me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
So, what about politics, religion? You know,
So-
all that juicy stuff.
All the juicy stuff. So, as far as politics go, I try to stay out of politics.
Okay.
I try to.
Are you apolitical then, or skeptical, or just like
I think
politics?
I think I'm more like even with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I think I tend to keep it more just to myself.
Okay.
And it's to avoid conflict.
Okay.
Not that I'm afraid of conflict, but I find that political conflict brings out the nasty in people.
Oh, it has. Yeah.
And like even so, and I think I've developed that because of my family situation, where
Okay.
my family is very right winged.
Oh, okay.
And even though I transition, they love me, but they say some stupid shit.
Yeah. Right.
And I just kind of look at them sideways. And then I start looking at them like, but I'm right here.
yeah.
And then it's almost like they forget.
Oh no, they talk over you.
Yeah.
Oh, my
you know,
goodness.
where it's very much like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Right now. So as a family, we've made it a
Like,
just
do they say all the bad stuff that they're saying now, like groomers and all
yeah.
that crazy stuff?
Yeah. So like, you know, I have family in the civil service industry.
Okay.
Um,
What exactly is that?
So like, my brother's a fireman.
Okay.
And my dad works for a township as
Okay.
an inspector.
Sure.
And they have very different views.
Sure.
Because of working in a particular position like that. So they have a different view about it. They get to spend a lot more time watching more TV than I do. And so they have different opinions about things, and I would love it if they'd stop watching Fox News. It'd be fabulous. So it's been just very touch and go. So as a family, we've decided to, you know what, I love you guys. Don't talk about this shit in front of me. I don't want to talk about it, because if you say something dumb, I might lose it, because they just forget that I'm there.
Does it hurt your feelings, or does it make you mad? I mean,
I think
what comes up?
I think it's more of, I look at them a little sideways, like, damn, you're that dumb. And it's more of, I don't want to think of you that way. I don't want to think of you in any other light than you're my family, and I love you, and you're intelligent.
So you don't feel personally hurt. It's more like you don't want to lose respect for them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's some things that they've said where they have hurt my feelings,
Yeah.
and they've recognized it.
Okay.
And they're like, I'm sorry.
Like, they recognized it, or
They
you
recognized
told them?
it after I quit talking to them
Okay.
for a few weeks.
Okay.
They're like, so where you been? I'm like, I don't know. Are you done being dumb? And they're like, oh,
Yeah.
is it about that? Yeah, it was about that.
Have
I'm
they been
sorry.
talking about like the anti-trans bills and
No, so
there's so many of them right now?
they don't talk to me about that. I think because of we've made a rule not
Okay.
to talk about things.
Okay.
The most recent thing that my brother brought up that I was very surprised is the Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
He's got 2 stepkids, 2
Yeah.
stepdaughters, and he's very distraught by it. And I'm like, I was very shocked.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? You're upset by this? He's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it, because I could see him being the other side of it and saying, no.
Is he
take it
usually
away.
conservative on other things or something?
Very
or-
much.
oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
much.
You know, I have met conservative people who are not pro-life.
Yeah.
You know, they do believe in choice.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, a very conservative lady that I met at one of the dog parks wanted to, on that day when
Mm-hmm.
they overturned it, she wanted to be a guest on this what I'm doing here.
Oh, wow.
She changed her mind though the next day.
Okay.
I think she just thought better of it. Like she didn't want to be public or something. But
Okay.
she told me she was very conservative.
Okay.
And I talked to her about this project, by the way, just because sometimes I like to be open about it, just to tell people and to show that there are trans people in the world.
Yeah.
And they're curious about why I'm traveling on. But she seemed really upset, you know, and she should be, because I don't know. What do you think about it? I think that it erodes everybody's rights. It's not
100%.
not just women, although women are obviously important, but it erodes everybody's rights. It erodes conservatives' rights.
100%. I agree with you.
People are worried about like mandates for the shots and the masks and all that stuff. Guess what? You just made it easier.
100%.
Yeah.
I really don't think they understood the heaviness of it.
Yeah.
Of what it was really going to do across the board.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see things happening
Yeah.
as we go. Yeah.
Well, and so it's interesting. I had a lovely conversation with a coworker of mine about. So if you think of it this way,
yeah,
the states that allow it, because it's going to be at state level now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, New Jersey.
Except I think Biden had an executive order today.
Oh, he did. So
Yeah.
I missed it. I don't. I
Yeah.
usually catch up on the news.
Well, it's just today.
Oh, just
And,
today.
You know, executive orders are pretty flimsy, unfortunately.
It's true.
Yeah. So if somebody else comes in, they can just flip that over.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, the states could just be like, no, we're going to do it anyway, just like they do with marijuana.
Pretty much.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, they can ignore.
They can ignore whatever
the federal government.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. New Jersey is one of the states where it's allowed.
Yeah.
So
I think it's going to become kind of a sanctuary here.
it is.
I mean, that's a loaded word to use, but
But you're right.
yeah.
But the interesting thing that I had this conversation with my coworker was, and this is an ex-coworker, it was, think of all the revenue it's actually going to bring, and that's the unfortunate part. And it was a different side of it that I hadn't even thought
like
of.
medical tourism.
Well, medical tour,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Think of how many hotels do we need now?
Yep.
How many different centers do we need now? Parking situations, the more Uber, the
Yes.
restaurants, just because people have to come here now.
That's right. And I say medical tourism because that is actually a thing that Americans do because our medical system is so expensive.
Yep.
So people go to Mexico and they
Yeah.
go to Thailand and you know, all these Canada sometimes.
Canada, Turkey.
Yeah.
They go to all these other
Yeah.
places, and that's what happens.
Yep.
So it was a very interesting conversation to see that now that had happened, and New Jersey is a safe place where you can get it done, and all these other companies stepping up to give travel expenses.
Yeah.
What was it? I think Dick's Sporting Goods the first day.
Yeah.
$4,000.
A lot of them are doing
Yeah.
that, but they might roll some of that back too because who knows, they could be criminally charged by the state, you know, by whatever state that they're in.
They could be.
So, you know, yeah.
It's very interesting, but I
It's-
think certain companies are willing to take that.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
hit.
even just right now, there are clinics closing down and they started closing down the day of, even though it wasn't illegal yet,
Right.
because they were unsure of the legal status.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah, even though it hasn't taken effect all the way, it still has an effect.
It's already played a major role in deciding things.
Yeah, just
you
like
know.
with trans care too. I mean, there's
Yeah.
hardly any doctors that offer competent trans care,
100%.
and so many of them are now rethinking that, whether they're even going to do it. It's rough.
It is very rough.
Rough.
I'm the admin of the trans group that you reached out to me through.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting seeing the post.
How did you get into that role, by the way?
So I inherited it.
Okay.
Someone very early on when I decided to transition, I was looking for a safe place. I was
Okay.
looking for a place that I could get resources from because, like you said, there's no real way to get resources without just going to the internet.
Yeah,
and
even in a cool place or a blue or a liberal,
yeah,
place like New Jersey, you still have to do word of mouth and network in order to find
Just
what
get
you need.
information. Yeah. Who's a good doctor?
Yeah.
Who's a good surgeon in
Where
the
can
area?
you get a job?
Exactly.
Yeah, all that stuff.
So I had joined the group, and the original creator of the group, he was moving.
Okay.
And he was like, "Hey, like you've been really active. Can you just take over?" And I was like, sure."
Well, it seems like a pretty civil group, so
It is.
at least you have that.
Yeah. Well,
some groups are less so.
Yes. So I made sure it could always be a safe space. Yeah. I put rules in place of how you have to apply, and if I don't like the way that you apply and you don't answer the questions the way that you're supposed to answer them, it's an automatic no.
Sure.
And a lot of people will post anonymously.
Yeah. Anonymously. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, so I don't know how they do it, but I get these alerts that I need to approve it.
Okay.
And is this safe? And then when it posts, it just says anonymous.
What kind of content is that?
A lot of it is some of it's sexually related.
Okay.
Hey, I'm having this issue.
Okay.
Has anybody else had this issue?
So issues that probably people should be addressing through their doctors, but they don't have
a doctor. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's at least a safe space for them to ask questions, and people we have such a great group. I think we're over 800 members now.
Sure.
And they're getting the feedback that they need.
That is a pretty big group.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously New Jersey has a high density of population, but it's amazing though. I drive around and it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah, it's in these pockets of woods.
Yeah, it's funny. It's so wooded here.
Yeah.
And you just wouldn't believe how, like, it's like a giant suburb in the woods. Yeah. The whole state.
But it's just South Jersey. The moment you get above 195, so 195 goes east to west.
Okay.
As soon
is
as
that
you
like
cross
Trenton?
that, yeah.
Okay.
It bumps right into Trenton. So as soon as you get above this line, you're in North Jersey, and it looks totally different.
Like
and you'll see it as you're driving.
Warn me. Is it more like New York?
It's more like New York.
Okay.
It starts to get more like... So you'll be on the turnpike, and as you're driving, you'll start seeing the woods kind of fade. Oh, no. And then it's all just industrial.
So I should enjoy this now.
You should enjoy this now.
Pretend I'm in Alaska, only it's really hot.
Yeah, it's very humid. Yes, but the north, I guess, the northwestern corner of the state is very mountainous.
Okay, and
it looks very much like this.
Okay,
but as you get on the turnpike and you head just towards New York,
is that like Princeton area?
Yes, if you stay on that side and hug Pennsylvania, it looks like this.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so how would you describe your politics then? You said you talked with your family.
Yeah.
And you have some differences, and that's specifically around trans issues. But is there also like a political difference?
Yeah, there's a political difference.
Philosophy?
Yeah, philosophy in general. Yeah. They're very conservative. American jobs need to be American jobs.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
They feel that the wall would be beneficial.
Okay.
And
so they're against immigrants.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm the opposite because I know where we came from. I know our background. Yeah. My mom's side's Native American. Yeah. So we were here.
There you go.
Yeah. My dad's side came over on a boat.
Yeah.
Like.
Right.
How do you...
yeah, the disconnect on that is really strange.
It is very strange in my family, so we choose just not to talk about it because they are very just... I look at them sideways sometimes. So it's very interesting.
On that particular issue, are you into opening the border more, or are you that's kind of a loaded way to say it. Are you into making it easier to become an American, like to streamline that process, make it easier? Because I know it's very difficult. Because I've had friends like from Asia. I knew a guy from South Korea who became an American. It took him 15 years.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
It's crazy.
But the other part that bothers me, so to answer your question is, yes, I think that the wall is unnecessary.
Yeah.
If we just made it easy.
It's mean-spirited, too.
Yeah.
Like, who wants a symbol of us putting a wall up?
Right.
What kind of country is that?
Well, that's like, it's going back to Germany, and they had to take down the Berlin. Why would you do that?
Right.
You literally separate the entire country.
Listen to Reagan. Take down that wall. Okay, so we took a break for a second because there was some dog barking, and then we got into talking about hunting and stuff, and I was like, dude, let's get this on the whatever this is, podcast or video or whatever the hell it is. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so, I grew up with my dad hunting and fishing and camping.
Yeah.
And so I was saying before you came, I had to clean the porch because all of my camping gear was still out.
Oh, okay.
I had it just strung everywhere, drying out.
Yes,
and airing out, really. I camped every weekend in the month of June.
Okay.
So.
And you guys get pretty much like daily rain or something like that. Like there's a lot of little
little pockets
yeah.
sometimes, and it's the season for it.
Yeah.
So now we're getting into July. It should start drying out, and we'll have that hurricane season come soon.
Oh, great.
So
you get hurricanes this far north?
Well, so if you look on a map, we're kind of in the south middle of New Jersey. Like almost right smack dab in the middle.
Yeah.
So it's either 40 minutes to the shore or 40 minutes to the city.
Sure.
And when that hurricane comes, it'll hit all the way over. Okay. And then it makes its way up usually.
Does it do these hurricanes ever affect Philadelphia?
Oh, yes.
They do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
because it seems like kind of far inland.
Well, by the time it makes its way to Philly, so like we'll feel it here for sure.
Do you get flooding? I mean, what kind of stuff do you get?
We don't get flooding here. It's just torrential downpours. Okay. Usually what ends up happening, and last year, was it last year? Last year a little bit, it's actually, Mullica Hill is closer to the Philly side. Mm-hmm. A tornado ripped through there. Oh. And if you drive through there, it looks like it's a different planet still. Like the trees are still just laid out. Sure. And here we'll get the high winds, and when we purchased the house, we had to actually take down some trees just because it didn't look safe. They were leaning. They had been leaning probably for a little bit too long. Yeah, yeah. And we're like, I don't even want to deal with that.
Right.
So, but yeah, trees will get uprooted here. Yeah. They'll what was it?
And this doesn't look like a real heavy structure. This house either.
No, all the houses around here they all essentially were log cabins. Yeah. Mine still kind of is. It's just been modernized, but it sits up off the ground.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because New Jersey is essentially at water level.
Okay.
And if you dug underneath, it would just flood everything. Yeah. So you'd have to put in a lot of work to put in a basement. Yeah. So we don't have those here.
We've been going to Freedom Park, which is it's a giant dog park.
Yes.
It's like 26 acres or something. It's like the most fabulous dog park I've ever been to. Yeah. I was so dismayed when I was going around looking for dog parks because I have this young dog and he needs to run, of course. Mm-hmm. And all these parks were saying, had signs up that said no dogs allowed, even in the park. Yeah. Even with a leash and stuff. Yeah. And so I was just trying several of them, and I happened upon this one, and I was like, bonanza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one that's an Evesham. That's just the town over.
Okay.
And it's behind the municipal building, from what I understand. I've been there once.
Is it a little tiny one or something?
It's a smaller one. Okay. But Freedom Park is by far the better one.
Yeah.
I think I found in the entire state.
I heard on the weekends it gets just full of dogs. Oh, yeah. I don't think I'll be going there on the weekend.
Yeah, because I think you can let them off the leash.
Yeah.
Within the area that's blocked out.
The whole park. Yeah. Pretty much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he ran off at some point. And I was like, oh my God, where'd he go? Yeah. Because it's so big. But I mean, he didn't run off from me. He was just going towards another dog. Yeah. Because he loves dogs. But yeah, he's a good boy. But anyway, actually, when we were out there, some guy started swearing in the forest, and I went over to him. And I was like, "Are you okay, guy?" And he was like, "Yeah, I just got stung, bit or stung or something." And I was like, "Oh, did a snake get you?" Mm-hmm. He was like, "Oh no, it was a wasp." So you have to be careful.
Wasps are bad. Yeah. Horseflies are the worst.
Yeah.
But we have critters.
Yeah, I asked the lady, and she said, yeah, they live in the bank. Mm-hmm. And so when the dogs go up and down the bank to go into the water, they get disturbed.
They do. Yeah. The nests are, especially, they're mud wasps is what it is. Yeah. They'll just burrow in the mud, and as soon as it's disturbed, the whole nest will come out.
Yeah. He was swearing up a storm.
Bad news.
Yeah. I guess he only got one, but somebody else I was talking to who's a dog walker said that, last year apparently a lady got stung multiple times, and her dog got stung. Oh wow! So it must have been a swarm that came up. Yep. Yeah. So after that, we all kind of left.
Just went that. We should go this way a little bit. Yeah.
We stayed away, and then we all eventually left. But people come in there all the time. I was so glad to find it though, because, in a place like this that is so densely populated, it's hard to find places And especially there isn't a lot of public land here.
Right, yeah.
That's publicly held, so you just can't hang out anywhere.
No.
Right.
Definitely not. Not
yeah.
without somebody calling
Yeah.
and saying, hey, there's a weird car over
Right.
here.
And this
Yeah.
place is so heavily policed and surveyed
Yes.
that happens.
100%, yeah.
I went to a little park, even just going to this little park, and I had my dog on leash, but I kind of accidentally let it go, and he was just a few feet from me, but a cop definitely slowed down.
To be like, what's up?
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, what are they doing? They're just looking for trouble.
Well, they're bored.
Yeah.
So like where I live, we have our own police.
Not enough crime around here?
Definitely not.
Okay.
But we have our own police department, and the town that I live in is like 1.3 square miles. This is a tiny town.
Okay.
We have our own police force.
Oh my goodness.
And all they do
That's a lot
is
of money.
patrol
Okay.
and pull people over for just doing 2-3 miles over the speed limit.
Well, I noticed. Yeah, I know. I've been trying to adhere to the speed limit a lot, but of course, there's always that guy behind you who's
Always.
like right on your bumper, and I'm like, dude, there's so many speed traps around here. I'm not gonna go over the speed limit. No way.
While you're here, I think that's their favorite thing to do.
Yeah, and they change the speed limit constantly.
Yeah. Well,
It'll
you'll
be
start
40,
in,
45,
Yeah.
40 back at 50 constantly.
You'll start in the front of town doing 25.
Yeah.
And then somewhere it just changes to 35, and then it bumps up to like 45.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then
I love the places where it's like you're going downhill
it
and
changes.
Yeah, and the speed limit goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
it's
right
like,
here.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
We're going downhill. We're going to go faster.
Yep. That's literally right here. It changes literally right. That's why you can
So do you
kind
have
of hear
a
the
speed
cars.
trap here?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
They'll sit right in front of this
Yeah.
one guy's house.
Yeah.
And so you look out and you're like, oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go
And
this
I
way.
noticed all the police cars are really nice too. Like they're all
yes.
brand new.
They've got brand new cars.
Sporty. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Not quite as sporty as Texas though. Texas they had
They have
actual
trucks.
sports cars. Well, they had trucks
well, yeah,
too.
they have trucks.
They have trucks.
And cars.
But they had sports cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's to get them.
like V8s, like really souped up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's because the faster cars that they're trying to get
Okay.
are a little bit more souped up than theirs.
Yes.
So that they just need to compete.
Well, the
at that
Texas
point.
highways, as you probably know, are
75 miles an hour?
Well, I mean that's the bare minimum.
Yes.
You'll be going 75, and people will be like, "Nah."
Why aren't you doing 100?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just suggested to 75.
And they'll be like 3 feet off your bumper. And you're
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
It'll be interesting when you get on the turnpike. I think the speed limit's actually 55,
Oh,
and everybody's
goodness.
doing 80.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just suggested at 55.
Okay. Oh boy, that's gonna be interesting.
I would just take the back roads out.
Yeah, I've been taking the back roads a lot. I don't want to pay the tolls either.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I
very
don't have
expensive.
I don't have a transponder.
Oh, the Easy Pass. Yeah.
I mean, how do tourists even deal with that?
Just pay cash. Well, but ever since COVID,
Yeah.
they went to digital.
That's right.
And so that's some places are just change. You have to have exact change,
Mm-hmm.
and then some of them still have people that will take cash.
But some places
but
they
some
just,
places they don't. It's
some
just
places
tags.
They just they're taking a picture of your tag.
Yeah.
If you don't have a tag, what do? New York tried to put me into collections.
Really?
They sent me a letter saying, "Oh, we're going to put you into collections because I accidentally drove on a road that I didn't know was toll." I don't remember seeing a sign.
Yeah, they're very sneaky about that stuff.
And somebody gave me the advice to write a letter stating, "Oh, I'm a tourist and I didn't know, and please, for the first time,
Please
could you
forgive me."
please drop this?" You know.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But there was no place that I could pay. There was
No, it's ridiculous.
yeah. Anyway, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's kind of free in terms of being liberal, in terms of rights and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the smaller everyday level, there's a lot of surveillance. There's
Oh,
a
yes.
lot of rules.
Lots of it.
And it's a weird mix.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird mix.
It's definitely
Like in the
interesting.
West, you have less of that, like less freedom in some ways, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's some bad laws, but then people don't care what you do
Right.
on a regular day basis. I mean,
No.
you go to a park, there's not like 20 rules like they got here.
Yeah, oh, yeah, the posted
Yeah.
signs. Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you go right up to the beach here, there's a list.
Yeah, it's
Of what you
it's
can
like
do and what you
boom,
can't
boom,
do.
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
I've been taking pictures of the signs actually because I'm just like, what's with this?
Yeah, it's very interesting. You're right. There's
Yeah.
the shadow politics, you could kind of call it. It's what happens when you're not paying attention. There's all these new rules. What do you mean there's a camera at the stoplight now?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, who approved that? When did that get put
I
up?
have to give my card to this teenager so that I can get my gas pumped.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
No.
it's weird.
No, you're not going to take my card. I mean, I guess I have to do it at some point, but...
Yeah, do it at a bigger gas station.
Yes.
The
truck stops, they don't care.
Truck stops, they don't care.
They're not going to have, like,
well,
20
they're used
guys
to
out
it.
there.
Yeah, they're used to looking at your plates and going, oh, they got it.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
here it's like, no, this is my job.
Even, actually, Oregon has this, too.
Yeah,
You
I think it's
cannot
just
pump.
the two.
You cannot pump your gas.
Yeah, I think it's just the two states,
Yeah.
us and them.
Actually, I trust people in Oregon a little more than here.
That's fair.
Sorry.
That's fair. No, it's fair.
You know, you pull up into Goose Lake near Southern Oregon, and then, yeah, go ahead, do it.
Yeah, have fun. It's fine.
But suburban
New Jersey, not so much. Yeah.
And he was on a phone and a tablet, and I don't know.
He's a child.
It just seems sketchy to me.
Yeah, it sounds like you were at the one that was right up the street here.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a child. He's probably doing classes online
Yeah,
and talking to his friends.
He was
or
doing
whatever.
like 5 things at once, and I was like, no, I am not going to give you my card.
Yeah. No, it's definitely interesting. And some of those, we call those mom and pops. If you're not like a big chain around here, like a Wawa.
Well, I don't think it was digital. It wasn't digital or anything.
He didn't have to like.
Yeah, there
swipe?
was a swipe, but it was, you know, it didn't have the face that's
Oh,
digital.
yeah.
You know how the new ones
I know
have
where
the face
I know
that's
exactly
digital?
where you were at.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they haven't paid to upgrade their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of those older ones, and I can think of the one that's on a main road over here on 206. Depending on who's working, your identity will get stolen, and you'll have an extra charge on your card.
Yeah, that's why.
And that's why I just go to Wawa.
That's why I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, because Wawa at least protects you. The bigger ones have like an agreement that if there's water in your gas and you break down, okay, we'll pay for it.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
If there's an extra charge,
That's good to
we'll
know.
take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Wawas, the bigger ones are just safer.
Okay, I'll try that then.
Yeah.
So, how would you describe your political bent then?
I guess it's
Like, how do you vote? That's one way of describing it.
So if I had to vote, historically, I've always voted Democrat.
Okay.
But
are you a party line kind of person, or are you more independent?
I would say I'm more independent. It's
Okay.
it's whoever's right for the job. And nobody's ever right for the job. But if you check more boxes for me, then that's probably what I'm going to lean towards. And so far, it really has been more Democrat.
Sure.
All of the boxes that you're checking are, okay, I agree with you.
Sure.
Are there some things on the Republican side? I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Okay.
That I would be more leaning towards.
Yeah.
But even some of the stuff that the Democratic Party has taken a stand on, or that they've tried to do, it's very just wishy-washy for me.
Okay.
Like if
Like
you
what?
say you're going to do something.
What in particular?
Like the trans rights.
Okay.
Trans rights, very big in the Democratic Party, and who's over here in our Congress? I think it's Andy Kim.
Well, I don't think some of them are. Like Clinton, Hillary Clinton kind of was pretty wishy-washy about it.
That's what I mean.
She's being very pragmatic by saying, oh, we can't really support them because we need to get in office. I don't think that's really supportive.
No. So that's what I mean. So it's just very much... It's hard. If I feel like if I'm the type of person that if you tell me you're going to do something and I'm going to give you my vote, I expect you to deliver.
Right.
And when you don't, and now it's your time to get out of office, okay, well now you just let me down, now I'm mad.
Yeah.
And now it makes you just more skeptical about the next person.
And people would like for the Democrats to be a little bit more strong.
Absolutely.
To show a stronger response.
Yeah.
Because really playing nice is not going to get us anywhere.
No. And I think that's probably the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Is everybody just wants everybody to play nice, and you see the Republicans are very just cutthroat about everything,
Yeah.
and the Democrats are like, all right, peace, love, and harmony, which is great, but you got to get shit done.
Yeah.
You got to be able to be like, all right, no, but for real, I'm
Right.
done playing with you, and this is just how it's going to be. I look at worldview stuff with a lot of, especially the way that COVID got handled. It was interesting paying attention to the countries that did a really good job.
Yeah.
And the countries that did a really good job were run by women.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's interesting. And then I was having this discussion the other day with my girlfriend about, you know what would just make it easy is, I think it's Switzerland. You might have to fact check me. But of all places, it's somewhere up there.
Okay.
Switzerland, Netherlands, up there. They have a rule that every citizen gets a gun.
Yeah, right. No, it is Switzerland.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And they have 0% crime.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, why is that? Well, because it's a level playing field
That's
now.
right. That's right.
It's a level playing field, and you don't know who has a gun.
Well, a lot of people I've been talking to who are more libertarian types are saying, let's bring that back into schools, because they used to have shooting clubs at schools.
They did. Back in the day, around here.
Yeah.
Archery club.
Yeah.
And literally, you can hear it at nighttime. There is a gun club.
Yeah.
That's right up the street
Yeah,
there.
even knife safety too.
Yeah.
If a kid has a knife now, they are tracked as some sort of psycho.
Yeah, they're mentally disturbed in some way.
When I was a kid, and previous generations before me too, to have a pocket knife was like a prized possession.
That, and it was almost expected.
Yeah, and you earned it too. And
you had
if
to
you
show that you were safe.
If you did something dumb with it, well, you got it taken away from you.
Yeah, it's amazing how just the world has changed, where the things that were you grew up with as a almost a staple. This is just a way of life, you know. Me, you, Johnny, everybody had knives because we were able to prove ourselves.
That's right.
And now it
gave us some responsibility to work towards and to keep.
And it helped you kind of grow up.
Yeah.
Even with the hunting and fishing and everything that I did, it was a privilege to be invited to go and go take your test.
Right.
I remember taking my archery test, and I was the only female.
Oh, wow.
And I remember asking my dad, how come there's no other girls here? And he goes, I don't know. He's like, because I guess it's a guy thing. And I'm like,
well, you do have
interesting.
You do have to be kind of strong to do it.
Well, you do to be able to pull it back.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I tried to pull on a bow. I think it was an actual hunting bow, like something really strong. Yeah. And I couldn't even budge it at all. You know? But I was really little.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just it's It was 50 when I had to do it. It was 50 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
You had to pull back 50 pounds
and
then be able to hit the target.
That's a lot of like upper arm strength. Yeah, totally.
So to take it all away, and now you can only do it at camp.
Yeah. Right.
You can only go to camp that you have to pay for, and
so it's restricted.
It's restricted already.
To certain people.
Yeah. Can you afford $4,300 a month? No. And that's for one kid.
Right. Oh my
God.
So
now
what?
Wow. Yeah, because it's for the whole summer.
Okay.
And but what do you learn? You do learn how to make a fire, how to shoot a bow. Maybe you've never been canoeing. We'll take you canoeing. But it's all for the privilege now.
Yeah. Right.
And just the way that the world's going, like my nieces are always on their phones. They're always on their tablets. Go outside. Go get dirty.
When I was a kid, it was like all the, not like upper crusties that were camping. It was like middle class and poor people.
Yes, because you couldn't afford to go on the rich vacations, right?
You can't afford a hotel or whatever.
Yeah. So that's what I did. That's what we did. We went camping, and so... now I have the privilege of taking people to come with me.
Okay.
So
are you involved in like a youth group or something? Or
no. But I have family friends who have some teenage boys who are just a riot.
And you say that with
with love,
with some measured tones there.
Yes. They're boys, 13 and 16, right? And they know I'm transgender, which is great. So they've evolved at least to where that's not a problem.
A lot of young people don't care.
They don't care. They're like, whatever.
They don't care.
And they pick up on the pronouns so easily.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's your pronoun? Cool.
Well, adults think it's hard because, it's something else to learn. But as I've been saying to people recently, if you can learn somebody's name, you can also learn their pronouns at the same time.
Exactly.
It's not that big of a deal.
It's not that hard.
Now, if you're somebody who has some sort of, illness where you can't remember people's names, I understand.
Okay, that's understandable. Yeah.
But, regular healthy people who have regular cognition can do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just interesting. So the boys, they have lesbian parents.
Oh, okay.
So they had reached out and said, heard you're going camping. Yeah. You mind taking the boys? Hey, sure.
Can I go too?
Absolutely. So it was funny. The day of, the one boy showed up, the youngest one, and the older one had like a breakdown. He's like, "No, I'm not doing it. Fuck it. No, I don't want to." don't know. He never returned my calls. Tried
Oh.
texting him. Dude, where you at? I'll come get you. We'll go set up, and then
Yeah.
I'll come get you, and then you don't have to do anything. How
Sure.
about that? No, I didn't want any part of it.
Weird.
16-year-olds, attitude problems. But it was interesting. I took him. He had never been canoeing. This is how you canoe. He didn't know how to use a paddle.
Yeah. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
You gotta sit down, or
Okay.
keep the oar in the water.
Okay.
And
you
just-
don't go like this?
No, it's not one of those. That
Okay.
was a kayak.
Okay.
We have one of those there because the kayak's at the beach.
Oh, that's right. Kayaks.
Yeah,
like
kayaks
this.
are the other
Yeah,
ones,
yeah.
and the oars, you keep it in the water, and the blade has to go.
Okay.
Go a certain
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
Gave him
I don't think I've ever been canoeing. Yeah,
Really?
I haven't. No.
Interesting.
No.
Oh no. They're gonna mow the grass.
That's a ubiquitous sound around here, by the way.
It is.
It's the
Landscaping.
Yeah, it must be quite a business too.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because of all the HOAs and you have to make everything all nice.
Everything has to look pretty.
Well, let's cut out for a few minutes and
Sure.
just take a break and wipe the sweat from our brows
Yes.
from this hard work we're doing.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, they should only be a few minutes. Knock on the door then.
I worry about that, about the surveillance around here, because doing gig work, not so much here in the lower 48. I worried about it more in Alaska because
Really?
people are very private there, and they so if you trespass, they really get upset by that.
I can see that.
Yeah, so sometimes I'd get lost and stuff. But still, even down here, I'm like walking up to nice houses or something,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh, I hope nobody thinks that I'm doing something, or
No,
you know?
it's like we get deliveries so much the other day
yeah.
that someone dropped off food and it wasn't ours. And I'm yelling at the guy
Yeah.
as he's turning around right here, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't order today.
It happens all the time.
You know?
Sometimes people will put in the wrong address. Sometimes Google will lead you to the wrong place. What else happens? Sometimes drivers just don't care. They just, sometimes drivers steal stuff too. Like
Yeah.
oh, I dropped it, but then they come back a few minutes later and then they take it. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
There's all kinds of stuff that happens.
I bet.
But they don't stay on the platform that long. I mean, they figure it out after a while, after a short while. So there's actually not that many doing that. But people will sometimes get on for the first time and do that specifically. They'll find a big order, like something from a fancy restaurant.
Okay.
And then they will just take it and leave.
Interesting.
And I don't think they're ever prosecuted. They're just kicked off the platform.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And they can't do it again.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, so if you were, you vote Democrat mostly, and there aren't a lot of Republicans that you would support, and I can imagine that here in New Jersey, probably the politics are pretty much ruled by the Democratic Party. I would assume.
Yeah. So it was very interesting when the election was coming up.
Yeah.
And I'll even go back to when the election was coming up, and it was and Trump won.
Yeah. In 16.
And yes, in 16,
Yeah.
and to watch the state be so divided, I had never seen it before, and I had grown
like
up here.
overnight, or in the lead up to that.
In
'Cause
the lead up to
it took
it.
a couple years.
Yeah,
it was
in
a couple years.
In the lead up to it, it was very interesting. I had never really seen political flags before of anybody who was going to vote for somebody.
Okay.
It just wasn't. New Jersey just wasn't that type of
Okay.
state that I was used to seeing it.
Sure.
And maybe I was young and just naive and didn't pay attention, but it was amazing to me
None
to
of the
see.
pickup trucks with the big flags
Nothing.
flying off of them.
No, I don't
okay.
ever remember that. And then leading up to that election, it was like watching all your neighbors who was supporting who.
Okay.
And
was
it-
that like gossip?
It really was.
Okay.
It was like, did you see so-and-so put a
Okay.
Trump flag up?
Okay.
And you're like, really?
Because in the break we were talking about how there's like a surveillance state here in a way about everyday normal activities and a lot of police presence, but then there's also community groups who also do kind of their own policing, and that's common around the United States.
Sure.
But it seems even more so here that it's a thing.
For sure.
So they like you were mentioning, like people were walking down the street and that was kind of reported.
Yeah.
And who knows what that person was doing? Maybe they
Sure.
were casing the neighborhood, but maybe they were just walking too.
Could have been.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's at an odd time
Yeah.
of night. Someone
Yeah.
thought it was weird.
Right.
We kind of live in a secure area.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
The reason why I'm a little offended is because I have been watched so much being around here.
Yeah.
I've gone to these little tiny burgs where everybody probably knows each other for
Right.
generations, and people know that I do not belong in there.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. When we first moved here, that's kind of exactly what
Yes.
happened. We had purchased this facility.
Hold on a second. Cooper, hey, stop it. Okay.
We had purchased this home, and we were new.
Yeah.
And so they call this the trail.
Even though you grew up here, and
Even though I grew up here,
Yeah.
I didn't really grow up with Medford Lakes people.
let's take a break for a
Sure.
minute. Anyway, another clip.
You have a lot of snips, and
Yeah.
you're gonna get really good at editing after this one.
I'm the video surgeon. Soon I will move on to trans people. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There'll be black market snips.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Totally kidding. Anyway, I am good with my hands though. So, okay. Enough of that. Enough of the jocularity. Let's talk about the nitty-gritty stuff. Let's get very serious
Sure.
now. So you still haven't told me your political philosophy.
My political. Ah.
Okay, so conservative, libertarian, moderate, centrist. Let's name off a few: anarchist, ANCAP, socialist. Where are you? Where are you on the political compass? Let's pigeonhole you.
Pigeonhole me into one. Let's. You know what? I think because I really don't talk about it so much. I probably don't know where I might fall.
Okay.
Because I don't, like I said, I don't advertise. I try not to speak politics at all. Even at work and in my personal life. So
Keep going. I'm gonna plug this in again.
okay. So I don't necessarily know if I could be pigeonholed. I just think things that, what's right is right for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of how it should be. I feel like there's a lot of common sense that should just go into rules and laws, and where
I think that term is abused, though. Common sense.
Common sense?
Yeah, it's kind of like saying
that's true.
normal.
yeah,
And it's kind of abused. Like your normal is different than my normal. You know,
true.
It's what you consider common sense might not be common sense.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah.
I have that discussion with my girlfriend quite frequently.
Yeah. Whoa. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's a different interview.
Okay. If that's too much, we don't have to go there.
Yeah, no. But it's more of
Does she have a different political outlook than you do?
yes and no.
Okay.
So like historically, like I at least know fiscally she votes Republican.
Okay.
But for general rules, laws, and things that make sense for the good of all, which
Yes.
seem to be more of the Democratic Party, she falls in line with that.
Okay. So she's fiscally conservative and socially liberal.
Correct. Yeah. So, and if I had to really just think about it, I'm probably more liberal because
Okay.
I definitely...
Are you classic liberal or are you more like a modern liberal?
I would say I'm more modern liberal.
Okay. Are you a religious person of any sort?
I am more of a spiritual person. And I think that goes back to maybe my Native American roots. My mom was very much... she knew something was there.
Okay.
We didn't necessarily grow up going to church.
Okay.
If we did, it was for Easter.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were those types of
Oh.
religious people.
Yeah,
You know?
Easter's fun. I mean, even if you're not like a Christian or just going to those things culturally
Sure.
can be fun.
Can be fun.
Yeah,
yes.
just like Christmas and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I sucked it up and went to like vacation Bible school until I was like 16 or 17.
Okay.
So that was a little bit
kind of
torturous.
that's kind of a lot.
It was a lot,
Yeah.
especially for someone who was, questioning their sexuality at the time. I'm like,
Yes.
I don't like this.
And
know?
up till 17, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
So
Usually, I mean, a lot of parents will kind of let teenagers kind of go a little bit if they are very resistant.
Yeah.
You know.
so as far as religion goes, I'm religiously curious.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I read a lot about different religions. My girlfriend is Jewish.
Okay.
Her whole family.
Yeah.
Both sides.
I'm imagining there's a lot of Jewish people here. Yes.
So I had to. She got me a book. It's called The Jewish Book of Why they do the things they do, so I could understand. Well, why do you pray this way, and why do you celebrate this holiday?
Yes.
Because I didn't understand.
Yeah. It's deep.
It's very deep.
Such a deep history.
Yeah.
Very different than how Christians view it.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the beliefs are very different.
It's very they practice the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Jesus was just a prophet.
Yeah.
So I found
among many.
Among many.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love how much questioning there is too.
Yes.
Which is probably good for you because, you have that connection being a questioning person.
Yeah.
And then Judaism, it's sort of built in that they're questioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
With my girlfriend.
Yeah.
She questions me everything I do.
Yeah.
So it's
that's good that's
it's
fun
very
for you.
good. I'll sit there and go, any more questions? Do you have any more
I
questions?
see a little eye flutter though. You did that eye flutter when you were talking about the teenagers.
Yes.
You must be terrible at poker.
I can't play poker. Absolutely not. I have a very expressive face.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Same here. Like if I try to lie or like, I a couple times when I was a teenager, I did try to like do a little shoplifting. Just bad.
Just curious.
Just, bad. Just bad.
Mm-hmm. And you couldn't get away with it.
Yeah,
Y'all give us me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and they saw me, of course, or like my face would turn really red or, if somebody upsets me, like they can tell. They can tell.
Yeah, same with me where I'll become very reserved.
Yeah.
I'll become like statuesque and they'll be like, oh, did that piss you off? I'm like, oh, did you catch up on that?
Okay.
So
you become less expressive in a certain particular way.
Yeah.
Okay. Very static.
Very static. Where everybody's like, he's not talking anymore.
Yeah.
What
just
disappeared?
happened? Yeah.
So it's interesting. But back to the religious part, it's very I'm more curious. I've read up on Muslim. I have a lot of books on Buddhism.
Yeah.
So I try to I'm just curious about religion and how it just got to be so many of them. And now people can create their own, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, or bring back ones that have gone away for various reasons. There's a lot of resurgence of like Norse-based, Earth-based, pagan stuff from the Celtic cultures and that sort of thing.